Hey everyone, and thanks for watching my video. Today I'm going to go through real quick on how to repair the center armrest cover lid on an S4 B6. This is on my own personal S4. Now when I bought this car, the previous owner had broken the rear hinges on the lid, and he kind of just jerry-rigged it with some generic glue and electrical tape. So basically he kind of just glued it back as best as he could, and he wrapped the hinges around in electrical tape, and he kind of held it there. So every time you open the lid, it would kind of dangle open and then kind of dangle close. So I thought I would try to do a better fix. First off, I apologize that I don't have my hinges in pieces, because it's actually already fixed. So I apologize for that. I should have made a video of it when it was in pieces, but I didn't. And then secondly, this trick will only work if the hinges break cleanly. And what I mean by that is that you are able to take the broken piece and still match it up to the arm perfectly. Meaning that the break point didn't shatter into many pieces. Luckily for me, both of these hinges did break, but they broke cleanly so that I was able to actually line up the broken end onto the arm real perfectly. So the key to this fix is that you need the break to be a clean break, where you can kind of put it back together and it fits real well. You just need to kind of glue it back together. If it is, for whatever reason, like shattered at the broken point, then you're pretty much SOL. So at that point, you might as well just go to eBay and drop 25 bucks and get yourself either an OEM lid or some aftermarket lid, and then try to match up the fabric here, whether it's cloth or leather. Me, I wanted to keep the original one because I wanted to match the leather to the interior leather, so this is what I did. If we take a closer look here, you already noticed that I already did the fix, and as you look on here, it's pretty obvious what I did, but let me zoom in here to kind of show where the break was, and let my camera focus. If you can see, you'll notice that you see this little break mark here and little break mark here. Well, basically the piece over here broke cleanly off right at this point here. So, and when I say cleanly, it was so clean that I could actually put it back together and kind of match it up perfectly. Now it's on this side. Well, on this side, it's a little bit different because, let it zoom in. It actually broke here, and then it went all the way up here. And if we look around the back, you can kind of look around the back here. You can kind of see where the crack is. You see where the crack line is? So that's kind of where it is. But again, it broke very cleanly, where I can actually, kind of put it back together and fit it correctly. So the trick here to getting this done is, if you notice, when you put the arm back in place, you'll notice that there's a little cavity in here. And you'll notice that this cavity here is actually filled on mine. So basically what I did was I used J-B Weld PlasticWeld for plastic, or you can use any kind of epoxy for plastic. I would definitely recommend some kind of epoxy mix. So what you do is you mix up the epoxy, you super glue, you use some kind of super glue, a good decent brand, to glue the arm back on the hook here. I'll call it the hook back onto the arm. And basically you're just using the super glue to kind of hold it in place. So super glue it, give it about 5 minutes to adhere, and it'll be tight enough to hold. Mix up your epoxy, and then what you do is you fill up this entire cavity here with the epoxy. But before you do that, you'll notice that there's a little piece of duct tape here. See a little piece of duct tape there? And the reason why there's a piece of duct tape there is, let me just pull this real quick off, is that on the other side of the cavity there's actually a hole. So if you don't duct tape this, as you pour the epoxy into the cavity on the top, the epoxy is going to obviously leak through. So make sure you put a piece of duct tape over that. So basically you level it as much as you can, mix up the epoxy, let me just focus it here, and then fill up this cavity with epoxy. And you'll notice that it's not real. I didn't do it real perfectly on this one because like really not to the top, but you want to try to fill it as much to the top as you possibly can to fill it in as much as you can. But yeah, you want to fill in this cavity here all the way to the top. And basically what this cavity is going to become is a kind of like a skeleton. It fills up this cavity, it bonds to the plastic, and then it acts as a skeleton, so that when you open the lid and the forces of the physics, the force goes in this direction, well, you have this whole cavity filled with a solid piece of epoxy, so it's never going to bend out anymore. And then plus it glues it in place. Well, and then you do the same for the other side. And again, don't forget the little piece of tape on the back. You do the same for the other side. You do one side at a time. You don't want to do both sides at the same time. You do one side, you fill it up. This cures in 1 hour. You wait an hour, and then you flip it over, and then you repeat the process for the other side. So as you can see on this side, I did a little bit better job of filling up the cavity because it's actually more filled to the top. And then again, you fill it all the way up, you let it cure for an hour, and then it becomes, I don't know if you can hear that, becomes a hard plastic, fills the entire cavity, and then it becomes super strong. So now when you pull this way, it becomes like a plastic. It fills in the plastic. So it becomes like a solid piece of plastic. So what I'm probably going to do is just to give extra security to it. I mean, you really don't need any more. I mean, I can dangle this and shake this. You know, I mean, it's probably not going to break. I mean, it's pretty stiff. But what I'm going to do anyway is I'll probably heat up some duct tape and wrap it around just the joints where it actually snapped, and then I'll just wrap it, or I'll just heat wrap it around with some black electrical tape for aesthetic purposes. But technically, I could probably just put it right in the car like this, and it'll probably hold. So, hopefully, I'm pretty confident that this will hold. I'll throw it in my car, and you know, maybe in 3 months or so, I'll make a follow-up video. But yeah, if you want to do a quick fix for your armrest, if the arm happens to break, this is a really easy, pretty strong method of fixing your center armrest. So you don't have to drop 25 bucks on eBay. Instead, just head over to your auto parts store and go grab J-B Weld PlasticWeld, $8. And then once you get this done, you have the extra J-B Weld epoxy to kind of glue other stuff together in case something breaks. Alright, thanks a lot for watching, and good luck! Alright, so I did actually end up taping the hinges, as you can see there. I ended up using black duct tape. And the reason why I taped it was because I was a little bit worried that, being that when I put the lid in, unless there was a special way to put it in, when you put the lid back in, you have to squeeze the two hinges inward, slide it in, and then pop it back into the holes over here and over here. So I was worried that when I was in the process of pulling them in, I was actually worried that the epoxy might actually pop out. And there's a possibility that it might, so I thought that I would actually just tape it with duct tape, and that would become like kind of like a cast brace, so that when I put it in and I bend the two hinges in to kind of go into the hole, that the duct tape would keep the epoxy in the cavity in place, which it did do. Now I did hear a little cracking when I did that, so I don't know, maybe the epoxy did come out a little bit, but I'm feeling it right now, and it's still pretty secure. So, and as I feel inside the hinges, it's pretty secure in there as well too. So let me just kind of put it sideways, and you know, it can kind of close in and pop it like that. So you know what I mean, it's enough force to, I'm putting enough force in it to kind of lift the armrest right off the ground. So yeah, it's pretty sturdy. So yeah, I'm happy with it. Like I said, you know, it's hidden inside the armrest, so nobody's gonna see it anyway, you know, unless you open it up and you say, hey, you know, my hinges are duct tape. But you know what? For $8 and some extra epoxy laying around versus 25 bucks and then fighting with matching the leather to my interior, I'm cool with this. Alright, thanks for watching.